Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and this is going to be my review, spoiler-free, review of the Fantastic Four movie. I'm not going to bury the lead. I'm going to give my rating and my explanation for that rating. I think I gave the Superman movie like 8 out of 10. The Fantastic Four movie, I give a 7 out of 10. So for me, the Fantastic Four was an example of a movie that was executed well. It's like, it's almost like, where they do everything right, but still it's not quite right. I don't know. Like, it's one of those things. So I actually I waited a week to do this review. I actually, I saw the movie last Sunday. I waited a while to post this review and actually I had to think about it. I had to kind of let it sit, and I was trying to figure out what was it that I felt when I watched the movie and why I felt like there was something missing. And I think that was the problem with Fantastic Four. And I figured out what it was, and I'll get into it. I'll talk about the positive first. Try to keep it positive on this channel. The positive was Galactus was awesome. I actually enjoyed the Silver Surfer. The female Silver Surfer worked for the most part. I thought she did a good job. I really do feel like the acting throughout the movie was solid on all parts. There was none of this typical male bashing where the men are like, oh, I don't know how to do things, and the woman has to do it. There was none of that. It was a team effort. There was a real sense of family, that they were connected, and there wasn't the typical Fantastic Four, squabbling that, we kind of associate with the comics. They were playful with each other. It was a tight-knit family. There was another thing that was really positive is showing that Reed Richards and Sue Storm loved each other. That's good. I'd like to see romance, some kind of love in the movie. There was a little lack of chemistry in a way. I felt there was chemistry, but I felt like their motivations for doing things were not necessarily related to each other, more about their child. And that was a little bit, there wasn't that feeling. Like, one thing that we all know, if you watch the trailers, you know this, that, it's a Galactus is coming to Earth, and he's going to take over the Earth, eat the Earth, basically. That's what Galactus does. He eats the Earth. It's a tasty little dish. He eats the Earth, so that's the plan, right? And the whole idea is the Fantastic Four has to come up with a way to stop them. That's the whole idea of the movie. That premise, is the whole movie. But what is that premise? And this is what I think. I'll get into it in a second. Before I get to there, I'll quickly say, visually stunning. I think you'll see if you watch pretty much everyone else's reviews, they'll say, oh, visually stunning. It's like a typical thing that people say. It's like, what does that even mean? But what it means is they really captured the aesthetic of like the 60s. They captured that kind of if tech was in the 60s, with sort of weird contradictions. Like, you have like literal like tape cassettes and like laser discs mixed in with flying cars. It's like, I'm not sure if these two things could exist in the same reality. Certain tech kind of leads to other tech, but I'm not trying to be nitpicky. It's sort of like steampunk. Steampunk doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's more about the aesthetic of the tech. This was 60s tech, as if, you're super advanced, but with 60s style, or 50s, 60s, and they did that well. It was cool to look at. There was all of that, that was done well. Acting good, visuals good, special effects were good. Baby, not so much. Watch out for, like, if you can just sort of close your eyes whenever they show the baby, because the AI babies are a little wonky. It's a thing. They're not really good at AI babies. But that's the only thing, only criticism about special effects. Galactus's presence was great. As I said, even the female Silver Surfer, the fact that they switched it, I wasn't super happy with, but it worked. They made it work. And I thought that was good. Reed Richards is the captain of the Fantastic Four. He is the leader. He's the guy that, gets them to work together. He's the brains. Sue Storm is the heart. The Thing is the muscle. And in this case, Johnny Storm, he was a bit of a thinker too, and he had his own little thing that he did. He wasn't typical Johnny Storm, I have to say, but I thought he was well played. I thought he was he did, the guy that did Johnny Storm did a good job. Not quite the Johnny Storm from the comics, maybe. So those were the positives. Let me think of any other positives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. It was a very basic plot, right? It's like boy gets girl, boy loses girl. It's like giant eats planet or wants to eat planet. Somebody tries to stop him. I don't know. Is that the plot? I don't know. So here's the point, though. Here's where that fails. And here's all the negatives, I guess I would say, about the movie. And the reason why I give it a 7 rather than a much higher score. That feeling that we have right at the beginning of the movie is that there is an imminent death or the destruction of the planet coming. And that is something which kind of brings down the mood, actually, in a way. One more good thing that they did in this movie was Marvel humor drives me crazy. It's just like, oh, I have cancer. Oh, that's funny. It's like, what are you doing? Or somebody dies and then they make a joke afterwards. It's just that kind of humor drives me crazy. They didn't do that in this movie. The humor was much more subdued. I think they learned, like DC with Superman, they made it less dark. And in Fantastic Four, they made it more dark, if that makes sense. So they sort of came to almost, they came DC became more Marvel and Marvel became more DC in terms of the way that they laid out the movie. I think they might have gone, and this is where I say it's negative, where they maybe went a little too dark. It was a little bit gloomy. Oh, the world's going to end. Oh, it's like, you can't, you can't have a bit, there's no fun there. It's hard to have fun when the world's going to potentially end. And the other thing that I found that you'll see in the trailers, so I feel like I can mention it, is their motivations are very self-interested. The motivation is really the baby, the protection of the baby, which is not heroic. It's always good to, protect your family and stuff, and that's always a good thing, but it's not heroic. What makes a hero is that selflessness and the desire to help other people. If you watch the Superman movie, Superman, despite everything, like the world hated him, the world, rejected him. He was getting beaten up and he was doing everything, but he did it because he was a hero. He went beyond what beyond self. He didn't care about what people thought of him. He wanted to do the right thing. Whereas in the Fantastic Four, it's like, oh, we got to protect our child. That's the most important thing. And they really, because they focus so much on the family aspect, it really reinforced that to make you think, okay, the only thing that they're really, really trying to protect is their own family. That's not heroism. That is selfless. That's selfish. The selfish kind of behavior. I think Marvel still needs a morality compass adjustment. They just don't get it. And I think in a way it's hard to root for somebody who is not rooting for you. So what we want to see is heroes that are going out of their way and doing something that is heroic and awesome. When they're more selfish and they're more about their own interests, that kind of disconnects people, the audience, from being interested in their plight. So I think that was really one thing that was really missing from this movie. All of them were very self-focused, and I think that was a weakness of the Fantastic Four movie. I just recently did a book in book club where it was Fantastic Four number, I believe it's 53, or is it 51? 51. Fantastic Four 51. I had to remember the issue. And the whole, I'm going to tell you the story of Fantastic Four 51. It's the famous one with Ben Grimm on the cover, and it's This Monster is I think the title. And basically the story is this, and this will show you the difference between that type of heroism and the heroism of the Fantastic Four movie. In the Fantastic Four 51, the whole idea is there's this scientist who is jealous of Reed Richards or Mr. Fantastic, because of the fact that he thinks that Mr. Fantastic, he gets all the money, he gets all the fame. What does he have that I don't have? I'm just as smart, I'm just as great. Why don't I get all that stuff that Reed Richards gets? Okay. And what he does is he lures the Thing to his house, and then he steals the Thing's powers, and then he pretends to be the Thing. And so Reed Richards, says, "Hey, Thing," and Thing's like not really the Thing. Can you help me with this experiment? And my life is in your hands. And the whole time, you're seeing Reed Richards being very dedicated to, working on this science problem, where this 51 is just after 48, 49, right? Where we see Galactus coming in and potentially going to eat the Earth. And what the story in 51 is about is Reed Richards is now trying to think of a way to prevent future dangers coming to their world. And how do you do that? Well, those creatures are traveling at faster than light speeds. Well, if we can travel at faster than light speeds, maybe we can get to them before they get to us. And he's basically developing something to do that. He's got this crazy machine, very Kirby crazy machine. And he gets the Thing to have a rope that's tethered around him, and he goes into this machine which allows him to travel the vast universe very quickly, which is amazing that he has a rope that can connect to him. I don't know. It's comics. So the point is, he goes into the machine. He is risking his life, literally risking his life, in order to improve humans' technology, so that humans can potentially protect themselves from these, cosmic threats. Pretty selfless. Pretty, dedicated to the goal of saving humanity. And this mad scientist that has taken over the Thing's body is like, oh, this guy's like, maybe I misunderstood him. Maybe he's a little bit more than what I thought he was. And what happens is, the Thing, now this guy that's taken over the Thing, he's holding this rope, and Reed Richards needs to be pulled in. but the rope breaks. Okay, and this guy that's pretending to be the Thing jumps in to try to rescue Reed Richards. And so Reed Richards is like, oh, why did you come in here? I don't want you to risk your life. He's not thinking save me. He's worried about the Thing. He's actually, still selfless. And he's like, okay, well, I'll try to figure a way for me to save you. He's still thinking about how to save this man that potentially, cost him his life. That's Reed Richards. That's the hero. That's somebody that's, and so what ends up happening is the Thing, the guy that's pretending to be the Thing, is so impressed by how selfless and how heroic Reed Richards is. He's like, I was wrong all these years. I totally misunderstood you. I didn't realize how much of a good person you were, and the world needs you because you are such a hero. And he picks him up and just chucks him. He chucks Reed Richards, and he throws him right back through the portal that they were so far away from, and saves his life. And at the risk of his own life, he actually dies. So both Reed Richards shows that he's a hero, and this guy that's the mad scientist guy that had stolen the Thing's powers also shows that he's a hero, that he risks his own life in order to save somebody else. And that's what makes a true hero. Now, if when you watch the Fantastic Four movie, that feeling of like saying, wow, this person is so much better, like they're so like, and it really invests you in that character, because you're like, oh, you don't want to see that person that is just so good die. When they're more selfish, you don't really feel like you care. It's like, I just don't care. It's their family. They don't care about me. Why would I care about them? That's the kind of feeling you get. And I think because of that, it wasn't like, it was pretty subtle, actually. It wasn't like they were hitting you over the head with that selfish attitude, but it was there. And I think that hurt the movie. I want my heroes to be heroic, and I think Marvel still doesn't get it. Hopefully they will learn and they will get better. But for me, this movie was technically perfect. It looked good. Was well written. Just that it wasn't a hero's movie, and that's what we want with a superhero movie. So that's kind of my synopsis of it. I try to be spoiler free in terms of my review, but at the same time show you what I think a hero is and how it relates to this movie. So I hope you appreciate this. I hope you like my little FF51 story. But tell me in the comments below what you thought of the movie. Try to keep it spoiler free for other people. And I'd love to hear people's opinions. So 7 out of 10 for me. I'd like to hear what other people thought. Bye for now.